Hello all. So I'm so excited. I'm seeing so much good work in your purple folders and you'll get a chance to look at that today. This week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you are going to be writing an essay with our support. So we are going to support you through crafting your argument. When we get to the end of this unit, which will be the first week of March, you will be writing your own argument. You'll have all the materials that we give you today, but you will have to write an essay with minimal to no support. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, you really need to be paying attention because these resources can be used again. Okay, so let's get started. Before you choose a claim, you need to look at your strongest evidence. So you should have a sheet in front of you. The sheet in front of you should look like this. Unit 3, argument pre-writing. So today we're going to pre-write. Tomorrow you will write your essay, and then Thursday you will revise your essay. So your essay question is, should the government have the right to intervene in Americans' lives to encourage healthier lifestyles? So, looking at this question, the right to intervene. So, do they have the right to limit your choices? Do they have the right to force you to read, say, calorie counts at restaurants? Do they have a right to do this? So, we need to look at evidence for both sides. Now, I know, and it hit me this way too, I don't like to be told what to do, and I like to have freedom of choice. So when I first read this essay question, I didn't care for it, and I was ready to say, no, you don't have a right to tell me what to do. But you need to know both sides of the argument, so if somebody else brings you an argument on the other side, you can argue it down. Also, given the materials that they have in this unit in your book, the evidence might lean more to the other side. Whether you like it or not, the evidence might be stronger on the side that you don't agree with. So you have to look for the strongest evidence. So there are two possible ways that we're going to answer this question. We're either going to say, yes, the government does have the right to intervene. No, the government does not have the right to intervene. So here is our claim. Yes, the government should have the right, so the government should have, you would write in here, the right to intervene in Americans' lives to encourage healthier lifestyles. So go ahead and add that. All right, so on the opposite side, the government should not have the right to intervene in Americans' lives to encourage healthier lifestyles. So, whatever claim you choose to argue as your main claim, the other side is going to be your counterclaim. So you need to find evidence on both sides whether you agree with that claim or not. So, on this side, I'm going to give you guys some help on this. The nanny state article will have your strongest evidence on the yes side. So when you're looking for evidence on the yes side, you should go back to your evidence log for the nanny state, but honestly, I think you should go back into the text. So let's go back to the text together. So stop the video real quick And in your textbook or in your workbook, turn to the nanny state. Okay, so that's found on page 277. So make sure you go to page 277. If you need to pause the video, pause it now. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the text here. So in Three Cheers for the Nanny State, the author starts to talk about, again, banning soda. And if we scroll down, number 3, Americans, even those who generally support government intervention in our daily lives, have a reflexive response to being told what to do, and it's not a positive one. So again, you and I probably had that same reflexive response. We don't want people to tell us what to do. Stay out of our lives. Stay out of our choices. It's this common desire to be left alone that prompted Mississippi legislature earlier this month to ban a ban on bans. How crazy is that? A law that forbids municipalities to place local restrictions on food or drink. We have a vision of ourselves as free, rational beings who are totally capable of making all the decisions we need to in order to create a good life. Give us complete liberty and, barring natural disasters, we'll end up where we want to be. It's a nice vision, one that makes us feel proud of ourselves, but it's false. Here is her argument. Conley does not believe that we are capable of making good decisions. And the rest of her argument has to do with us not being able to make good decisions. So your first piece of, your first evidence could be, according to Sarah Conley, we are not good at making decisions. So let's go back. So then we go into paragraph 5. John Stuart Mill wrote in 1859 that the only justifiable reason for interfering in someone's freedom of action was to prevent harm to others. According to Mill's harm principle, we should almost never stop people from behavior that affects only themselves because people know best what they themselves want. That almost, though, is important. It's fair to stop us, Mill argued, when we are acting out of ignorance and doing something we'll pretty definitely regret. You can stop someone from crossing a bridge that is broken, he said, because you can be sure no one wants to plummet into the river. Mills just didn't think this would happen very often. So, she sets up an argument. This is basically a counterclaim. So I'm going to make this one pink. You can write out to the side counterclaim. So this is her counterclaim. In her counterclaim, and you might write this out to the side, her counterclaim says we should be able to make our own decisions as long as we will not hurt others. But then he says, Mills also said that if there is a situation where we could get hurt, someone should intervene. So, and if you want to roll back and look at that, again, I wrote in some notes there. So 6, that almost, though, is important. It's fair to stop us, Mill argued, when we are acting out of ignorance and doing something we pretty definitely regret. So notice where she's going with this. Drinking sugary beverages can hurt us, and so if we are ignorant about that, she says the government should protect us because of our own ignorance. So then she goes on, it's well established by now that we often don't think very clearly when it comes to choosing the best means to attain our ends. We make errors. So this could be a good piece of evidence. This has been the object of an enormous amount of study over the past few decades. So she says this, and now she's about to back this reason up with evidence from science study. And what we have discovered is that we are all prone to identifiable and predictable miscalculations. So then she jumps down to the evidence. So this is where you could start pulling. Research by psychologists and behavioral economists identified a number of areas in which we fairly dependently fail. They call such a tendency cognitive bias, and there are many of them, a lot of ways in which our own minds tripped us up. So if we go back, I'm not going to do this whole thing for you, but I'm going to start you off. So on your document, you could write about Mill's ignorance statement. Now don't just copy what I'm putting. You need to go back and give the details. But he basically says that if people are ignorant and they're about to hurt themselves out of ignorance, then we should intervene. Strongest evidence too, you could talk about cognitive bias. Again, you need to put in what cognitive bias is and how it connects. So to help you out, going back here, so going back to your text, look at number 6 so pull evidence from paragraph 6, and then for cognitive bias, you can pull evidence from you can pull evidence from 8 and 9. So going back to your document, paragraph 8 and 9, you can pull what cognitive bias is and how that supports that we make poor choices. There are many other places to look in this article. There's all kinds of great stuff in here, but I'll also have you look at paragraph 14. Paragraph 14 talks about giving up some freedom to live in a safe democratic society. So 14 would be good. And I'm just going to put paragraph 14. All right. Now, on the other side, the nanny state article is a harder article, so I decided I was going to help you out on that side. The other side, you're going to pull most of your evidence from Ban the Ban, and soda is a problem, but you might also pull some from Barrington Irving in the fact that his choices led to some great outcomes, so we should be left alone to make our own choices. So this side is a little easier. I'm going to have you guys pull the evidence yourself from this side. So basically this side, Ban the Ban's argument was if you start with soda, it's going to be a slippery slope. And also, if you take away one choice, you're taking away our right to choose. And we decided Ban the Ban was not a very strong argument. But if you like, you can pull from there. Soda is a problem, but says that they shouldn't have taken away our choices because it was an overreach of government control. So you're going to pull 3 pieces of evidence from that side. All right, that's it for pulling evidence and finishing the chart.